All right. Welcome, everyone, to Fraud Fact Friday, episode 12. I am here today with Gabriel Friedlander, and we are going to be talking about how to stay safe online, a broad topic, but we will definitely get into some specifics. Gabriel is the founder at Wizer, which is a free security awareness training company since March 2019. Previously co-founder and CTO at Observe IT. And LinkedIn tagline, what drew me to your profile, Gabriel, next to, of course, your content that you're putting out in the area of cybersecurity, is your LinkedIn tagline, spreading knowledge so everyone can be safe online. And thank you for joining.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I am excited for a couple of reasons. We should be able to see comments coming in a little bit better this time. I'm going to be sharing to an event as well. So a couple of new things trying out again this week. Hoping to see comments coming in. Let us know where you're viewing from. Where are you streaming from, Gabriel?
I'm streaming from home. Yeah, I live near Boston in a place called Newton.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a nice day now. Streaming from my small office, home office.
All right.
That's it. Yeah.
Cool. So I've seen some people are joining. We've got two comments blending in. Michael Skiba and Joe Stevenson have jumped on. Thanks for letting us know. Let us know if you're experiencing any technical difficulties, but thanks again for joining. Anyone else, feel free to comment, and we are going to jump into the icebreaker, the Fraud Fact Friday Fast Facts about my guests, so everyone gets a chance to get to know Gabriel a little better before we jump into the topic at hand. You'll have 30 seconds to answer 5 either-or questions.
Okay.
And yeah, I might ask a follow-up question or two, but we'll see. If you're ready, then I'll start the clock. Yeah. All right. I'll show you your 30 seconds.
Oh gosh.
Here we go. Coffee or tea? Coffee or tea?
Coffee, definitely coffee.
Truth or dare?
Dare.
Okay. If you could time travel, future or past?
Past.
Okay. On a walk or commute, are you listening to music or podcasts?
Neither, actually. I love to be connected to, the nature, listen around, see what's going on.
And do you prefer working from home or the office setting?
Oh yeah, that's a hard one.
You still have to answer.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I used to like to work from office mostly. When I started to work from home, it was a challenge, but I got used to it. So I don't know if it's just that I got used to it and I prefer it right now. But so it's a tough one. Sorry.
Okay.
No straight answer.
All right. Well, we're going to get into the topic of working from home safely a little bit later. But I want to, actually first here, no music or podcast, listening to nature. I've never had that answer before. Very cool. It's also probably safer when we're on the topic of safety.
You meditate, you hear the birds, and especially if go for a run in the morning, just putting music is something for me that disturbs me. Like I love listening to music, don't get me wrong, I listen at home, but then when I'm outside, I just like to be connected.
Cool. I won't do any kind of dare here on live LinkedIn TV here, so I'll leave that question as it is, and now just pass the mic to you, give you a chance to introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, and how you got involved in cybersecurity and fraud fighting.
Sure. So I'm originally from Israel, so hence my accent, and I've been most of my career an entrepreneur, starting a year after I left college. So I had 1 year in college, and then I realized that I want to become an entrepreneur. And I had a few businesses. The first one failed. I had to go and pay my debt back. So I went to work as an employee for 2 years as a CTO for it was a kids portal. And after that, I went back to be a consultant, and then I opened another company that did mobile apps. That back then, before the iPhones, we did mobile backups and stuff like that. And then I opened another company called Observe It, which we recently sold to Proofpoint, and that was about 14 years. So that's a big part of my career. And then started with Wizer. So recently, so that's sort of like a fast background about where I started from. I'm an entrepreneur in heart. I love taking risks. I enjoy the up and downs, this roller coaster ride. So that's really and I'm mostly a product guy, I would say, more than a security guy. So focus on product, but use it for the security space.
All right, perfect. Thanks for that introduction. So just so everyone knows, we've got some new functionality here. I'm going to blend in a comment.
Oh, nice.
So good to have another New Englander being interviewed from Joe. Thanks for joining. So anybody, if you have a question, we're happy to blend it in here. We're happy to address any questions you have about staying safe online. Otherwise, I will ask Gabriel my questions that I've come up with. The first might be a little bit too philosophical, but is anyone actually safe online? Philosophical is what I was trying to say, by the way.
Yeah. So the philosophical answer to it is no, because there's no difference between being safe outdoors or on the street than being safe online. It's being safe is really about how you behave, and you try to reduce that risk at the end of the day. But you cannot be safe, 100% safe anywhere you are, online or offline. What we see a huge shift of crime moving from offline to online. It just makes more sense if you think about it. Like, who's going to rob a bank anymore, right? Like, go with a gun and rob a bank where you can be anonymous and you can break in and steal much more money online than when physically going to a bank branch. So I would say that probably you're less safe today than ever, and unfortunately things are not moving in the to a good place just because crime is shifting online. And we're seeing a lot of new things that we've with social media. We're seeing a lot of misinformation. So a lot of things are getting blurry and impact us and our kids. And it's really that's why also I entered this space, and I wanted to help to educate, because in order to minimize the risk of getting hacked or scammed or whatever it is, you have to be aware. Sort of like you pay attention where where you walk at night. It's the same thing. It's just that in the offline world we have our but we can read body language. We can see if the person that is talking to us maybe is scamming us or not. In online we don't have all of that. So if we don't teach ourselves in our in the next generation, we just have no chance.
So that's a good segue to what I wanted to ask you, because you obviously notice a gap in the industry in your creation with Wizer. So security awareness programs is what you're offering to companies. What are some keys to developing a successful security awareness program so that this awareness can be created?
So the gap that I saw in the market was that there are tools. I entered a market that is saturated in terms of a lot of companies offering a lot of content or videos or training around security awareness. But what I felt was that it wasn't created for the general public in terms of the way the content is presented. I think it has to be consumerized. It was too much, felt enterprise, and companies were talking about themselves, which I understand. But at the end of the day, if you want to change people's behavior, you want to make the content personal. You want to talk, if you want to raise awareness to anything, you want to make it personal. So a lot of the content we're creating has a personal impact to it, effect to it. For example, we're talking about scams instead of just data breach. So instead of just saying phishing, we're showing examples of things that involve phishing, like job scams, like fake check scams, like a lot of things that eventually follow exactly the same attack patterns as cyber criminals trying to get in into companies. But if you make it personal and people will learn how to control and how to keep their own data safe, like their social media accounts or their personal bank, they will apply that same behavior at work. So I think what was missing, one was, first of all, make it personal so you can change behavior. And second, I felt that the content wasn't delivered the same way people consume content today. People today, whether they're using TikTok or Instagram or whatever, are looking for, short videos. Their attention span is almost zero, and they swipe. So the same thing here, we made our content 1 minute long. Every video is 1 minute long, and you can quickly swipe, and we force you to watch that 1 minute, but still it's 1 minute. It's not like a 30-minute full-blown video, and then you have to you basically fall asleep in the middle.
Yeah.
So it was really hard, by the way, to make those videos short because you want to cut all the bullshit and make sure that you get right to the point.
Yeah.
So those two things I felt that were a gap, making it, to consumerize security awareness so it will be applicable for everyone, from the employee to the kids to grandma. And second, taking it, to a personal level where people see the benefit of, being secured, and why would anyone want to even hack them? A lot of people don't realize that they're a target. So you have to, bring that approach.
Okay. One topic I noticed you quickly picked up on, which proved helpful for me personally, was working from home safely.
Yeah.
You came out with a video pretty quickly after there was this big shift towards working from home. There's many people that have been working from home for years, but many more now for just a few months. And I think that people in both groups are, of course, extremely vulnerable right now. So could you sum up some of your tips for a safe working experience from home?
Sure. So there's two sides to it. One is mindset, and the second one is technology. Both of them are a challenge, by the way. Mindset we'll talk in a second, but also technology. We're talking about a network that is not controlled, or computers that are not controlled by companies. Now, many companies may have not been prepared in advance for this, meaning a lot of people are using their personal computers, even though that's not probably the best suggestion. Companies know that, but they were just forced in a matter of weeks to support everyone working from home. So the first thing before security was, first of all, let's get people connected so they can actually do anything, do some work. But then the environment was left not secured. So there's the technology side, and there's the mindset side. So a lot of people are not used to working from home. So one of the things that I usually advise is, keep that same routine going. Work from, whether it's 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever that is. Same routine. If it was before that, you used to wake at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., do the same thing, go grab some coffee or tea, whatever if you need to work out, whatever it is, but go to work. And that really helps to relieve stress, because stress has a lot to do with safety and cybersecurity. If you look at what cyber criminals are attacking, they're attacking what people are worried about. And the more people are stressful, the higher the chances of them getting either scammed or attacked. So you want to get into that routine. Hold on. Need to shut off my phone here. I didn't do that before. Okay. So mindset is, like I said, it's a big thing. And then also set up your office space wherever that is, and also communicate with your family that you're at work, because when you're, the kids are not used to that. They're at home, they're coming in and out of the, Dad, I have a question and all. So they need to know that, when you're working, and you take breaks. And by the way, take breaks, again, if it was at noon, take breaks at noon. And it has to be a clear communication.
Yeah.
Also, in terms of your computers, don't share them. So there's a lot around the mindset. I can go for, like, I have a webinar, I did one of just an hour about just working from home.
Hmm.
And like I said, the second aspect to it is technology. Um, for example, don't use the same. Hopefully, companies, even if they didn't provide you a computer, hopefully they provided sort of like a virtual machine or something to isolate the personal activity that you're doing and the work activity, because you really don't want to, mix those two together. You want to have a VPN to the office. You want to have your, as much as possible isolation. And again,
Yeah.
that's a whole topic that we can cover, in a in an hour, how to do
Yeah.
that. It's not
Yeah.
it's not easy, but those are the two things, and people have to adapt. People have to adapt, and they also, by the way, HR and communicating with others, with other people, with your coworkers. How do you communicate? Not so you don't stay isolated again, and
Yeah.
not knowing what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a question came in. Well, first of all, we
Hmm.
had an input from Thomas. Crime scales on the internet. So
Totally.
that's our topic at the beginning
Exactly.
there. Um, we had a question come in. Let's see if this is shown properly. Why companies don't promote awareness on higher level? What I've seen is promotion of more and more products that generates revenue, but awareness promotion is quite limited. What's your take on that?
Yeah, this is true. It's about culture, and it's about how do technology people communicate with the board. Is it on a, you know, you can scare, you can keep on and saying about everything is going to be bad and we have to protect everything, but it sounds to the board sometimes, too far-fetched. To people are just trying to scare us. So you really have to, first of all, choose your battles. Make sure when you talk to the board, you map the risks to the goals that the business is trying to drive. One of the things that I usually say is, when you communicate to the board and you try to explain what you're doing, is think about security like car brakes, right? They were invented in order to go fast. Just think about driving a car without brakes. You'll go slow. So security is basically meant, and security awareness in general was meant to allow the business to grow fast, because
Hmm.
then we have the boundaries. But you have to ask the business, what are our goals for next year? Where are we trying to grow? What can we do to help? So when that happens, then we see that people are more willing to listen to security, because
Yeah.
it's not about just, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. It becomes something that works together as a team with the business. And the second thing is, work with management and make them not buyers, make them, they need to promote it as well. So, maybe
Yeah.
start with them. Also say, usually find those influencers inside the company. It doesn't necessarily have to be the managers. It could
Mm.
be different people in different teams that people look up to and listen to, and make them sort of like influencers of security awareness and, of that behavior change. Have meetings with them maybe once a month. And think that you need to market this. It's not just automatically happens because you think it's important, but unfortunately you have to sell that to the organization. It doesn't just automatically make sense to everyone, and you have to understand that. And that also ties to empathy.
Right. Right. This is something that I saw you post very
Hmm.
recently. You posted a video. It was like a short, I think, 2-minute video
Yeah,
on that topic, relating cybersecurity and empathy. So
yeah,
a hard skill with a soft skill.
yeah. You have to have that empathy, because if you throw on people, if you look, you can force people to do security awareness. It's
Yeah.
easy, you have to do it, and that's it. But did that really achieve your goal?
Mm.
And is it about KPIs, like how many people have passed, the security awareness training and test, or do people really understand why are we doing this, and why are we like trying to do this? So empathy means that you have to talk to the people. That ties back to the thing what I said about having influencers in the company. When you hire people, it's a great chance to explain why are you doing the why is the big question. Going back to tying it to personal safety.
Yeah.
If you think about the physical safety, people show, companies are showing, if it's, for example, utility companies and stuff like that, they're showing people how to work safe on, with equipment. I don't think just because they're afraid to being sued, right? It's that they
Right.
don't want anyone to get hurt.
Yeah.
We should have the same philosophy with security awareness. We don't want, the company needs to think, or the security team, whoever, we want to keep our people safe in general, not just for the company purpose, but also for their own safety. And we
Yeah.
can do that. We have the power as a company. We can help them, teach them how to, again, keep safe online, their kids safe, because eventually everything is intertwined. And especially now that we work from home, if we don't trickle it down to the family level,
Yeah.
then kids can get the network, infected with stuff that eventually goes into our, work laptop and then into the workspace.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing that I saw you touch on in some of your in some of your posts. It's not such an easy topic as far as cybersecurity and parenting. My kids are 3 and 1, so I have a little bit of time. But that age where kids are getting these powerful, smart devices in their hands is getting younger and younger. So what advice do you have for any parents that might watch this when it comes to just creating that open dialogue with their kids on cybersecurity?
So again, it's not all technology. So of course you have to educate yourself about, those different apps that are out there and, what are you allowed to use or not. But it's much more than just, don't talk to strangers, right? There's two fundamental things that doesn't matter if it's a kid or if it's an adult. And it has to be, first of all, what is the intent of that person that is communicating with us? Are they trying to scare us to death?
Yeah.
If they're trying to scare us to death, then there's probably, a problem there, right? If there's a time bomb ticking and we have to take action now, and that ties, for example, to sextortion emails and all of those nasty things that are going around. So first of all, try to understand the intent of, of that email or of that communication, of that message or WhatsApp message or Discord
Yeah.
message or whatever that is. Second, on the flip side is, is it too good to be true? Again, these are things that we can teach our kids. If someone is offering free V-Bucks, kids care about virtual currency more than, at the younger age than real money, because, they can do more with virtual money at that age.
Yeah.
But if anybody's offering you free V-Bucks, why, right? Like, again, there's a lot of things that parents can talk with their kids that have nothing to do with technology. It has to do with life. And it just maps nicely to social media and online. And if we teach them those skills of, they're trying to scare us or it's too good to be true, then we achieve a lot. And that, and then we have the technology part, which you need to talk to your kids, ask them, what apps are you using? Be curious, don't investigate them, don't don't start off, don't put them, on the hot seat and, uh, ask them like questions where they think they've done something bad. Just be curious, what apps are kids using? And you will learn a lot. There are apps like, for example, today it's very trendy to have, it's called, I think Omigo has, it's one app, and there's some others that is basically random video chats. So basically you open the app and a person shows up and you get to talk to them. It's crazy, like a kid, 13-year-old swiping and the camera is facing him or her, and then there's another person online. There's some bad things happening there. I don't want to scare you guys,
Yeah.
but so first of all, you have to be aware of those type of things, because they're growing up and they're trying to understand their sexuality and different things, and those apps many times don't help with that.
Yeah.
So from the technology side, we just need to know and learn. But then from the emotional side, there's so much we can do right now. It's much more than stranger danger.
Yeah. Another question came in really quick before I move on. Have you seen user growth with citizen training? Any correlation with pandemic work from home?
Absolutely. I think we're seeing a lot of that. And one of the things that helps, at least, the things that I found out that help is when you don't talk about just security awareness, when you talk about, when I talk to people, I'm talking about citizens, right? When we say data breach, for example, they don't get why would anybody why would I be data breached? It's not something that happens to me. But
Yeah.
people do understand what scamming is. Like everybody knows someone that got scammed. So the interest level around getting scammed has risen. A lot of people know somebody that was scammed, read about it. So it's really about talking to citizens, using their language versus
Mm-hmm.
this cybersecurity language, mapping them, and then helping them to understand. So I see people talking a lot. If you go to Reddit and you go to other places, you can see there's, really a high uptick in people talking about this, about
Mm-hmm.
how they got scammed and what they can do. And people are scared. People are asking, what do I do now? So I think a
Yeah.
lot of, yeah, it's happening.
So on your LinkedIn timeline, you actually post a lot of
Hmm.
different types of scams that
Hmm.
are happening, current scams. You mentioned phishing now several
Hmm.
times. So what would you say, like to anybody watching now or afterwards, are the top 3 phishing scams that every person should hear about right now?
Okay, so I'll answer that, but before that, I want to say that it really depends on what's trending right now because cyber criminals think like marketers. They want to hit the trending topics, our worries, the things we're scared of.
Mm-hmm.
So today we see people, for example, that are out of jobs, right? It's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
they're looking for jobs. So job scams is on the rise. We see a lot of people that are basically getting scammed by applying to fake jobs. They're handing out, they're being interviewed even. They're
Mm-hmm.
handing out all their personal information after they've been accepted,
Yeah.
and their identity is stolen. Not only that, they give the bank information and everything in order for the money to be deposited.
Yeah.
Then we see fake check scams that are also job scams also have that part as well, where you're getting a check, you deposit it in your bank for buying, for example, equipment. Let's say you need a new laptop or whatever. So the new employer is sending you a check so you can buy those things. You deposit it in the bank. It looks like the money is right into the bank. You see the money in. You go use your own credit card to buy different things from approved,
Yeah.
resellers, and the check bounces later.
Yeah.
We see that on Craigslist, where people want to buy your phone, your car. So anything that has to do with money right now, charity. People are using that to, people want to help. So obviously, scammers are leveraging that. Hey, you need to, donate for this or that. Anything that has to do with COVID, healthcare. Unfortunately, elderly people are getting scammed all day long because of that.
Yeah.
Fake medicines, fake tests. So this is what's happening right now. It will probably change as
Yeah.
as things change. But always remember, like those scams are tied very strongly to
Mm-hmm.
what's trending right now.
Mm. Okay. Um, so I told you we'd take about a half an hour of time, and that time went really fast.
Okay.
But what I want to circle back a little bit to Wizer for
Hmm.
something you mentioned. Too good to be true offers. Watch out.
Yeah.
In fraud training, you hear a lot about it.
Yeah.
Um, but so watch out for free.
Hmm.
But this is a big part of your business model. So can you
Yeah.
talk about balancing that idea with
Yeah.
your business model?
Sure. So we have a free version, but we also have a paid version. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
freemium model. That's not like a new thing. And the approach of going back to consumerizing,
Mm-hmm.
security awareness, when you look at how people consume apps, citizens, I'm talking about regular people,
Right.
who's paying for an app that downloads? You download to your iPhone, you don't really pay for an app. You usually pay for upgrades. So it's the same concept, use it for free. If you're, if the only thing you need is the security awareness part, it's free, unlimited amount
Yeah.
of users. But if you need anything beyond that, like compliance training, such as HIPAA, GDPR, or anything similar to that, or you need more advanced security awareness training like phishing simulation, gamification, stuff like that, that's the paid version.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how we balance. It
Yeah.
works very well for us. People really appreciate the level of the offering that we're providing, and it helps to create this word of mouth, and that lowers the cost of acquisition of leads. And I would say most of them stay with the free. A small percentage, like 10% converts. But when you have a lot of them, in a single year, we have over 5,000 organizations using Wizer. So
Mm.
even a small percentage that converts still is, it comes out as a big business, at the end of
Yeah.
the day. So it's actually totally worth it. And so we're
Yeah.
also have the opportunity to give to the community, and we also are able to create a profitable business.
Yeah. So what's on the roadmap for you coming up?
More games. We're looking at gamification. We're looking that's a big part of the things we're doing. So what I believe in, again, in learning, it's not about just streaming videos and that's it. You want to apply what you learned, because that's how, if you learn the language and you never use it, you forget it. It's the
Yeah.
same thing here. So we cover that part where we have great content and people can learn. We have some games, but we believe that there is much more to do in that respect, where people can put into practice what they learned.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a big part of it.
Cool. Yeah. So thanks for your time.
Sure. I really enjoyed it.
I hope it maybe even encouraged you to take a look into starting your own show, because your content is extremely helpful. So I could really imagine a cybersecurity show from Gabriel Friedlander in the future. We'll see. But yeah, I had a lot of fun discussing this topic with you. And if we didn't address any comments, we'll get back to them. You can reach out, I'm sure, to Gabriel directly on LinkedIn, very active user. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Did you want to have any last words?
Last words. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. If anyone wants to reach out and contact me and ask any questions, please do so. I love talking with people, in general. That's why I have this blah, blah, blah over there. And also in social media. So feel free to contact me directly, message me on LinkedIn, and let's talk.
Perfect. All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon again.
Awesome. Thank you very
And
much.
don't hang up. I'm going to end the
I'm not gonna.
broadcast, but we'll speak afterwards.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.